ora from Aotearoa. This is Poppy speaking, and I'm reporting on the current ninth wave Mayan energies as I see them, and as all the activity in the outer world is unfolding, which we all know comes from our consciousness. So what we are addressing inside, we're also seeing on the outside. So we can do things with activity and from the outside, and that affects the inside. And we can do things from the inside, and that affects the outside. Basically, what we need to do is actually what we are led by the Creator to do. So at the moment here in Aotearoa, we have a very amazing protest outside the parliamentary grounds in Wellington, and it's been filled up with so many people who all are unified and taking a united stand for unity, for self-mastery, for our choices to not be dictated to not come under a regime, to not fold to outer powers. And it's been really interesting to observe. There's an amazing amount of protection around everybody because of all the love, the cosmic love that everybody from around the world is really sending those who are out there on the front lines doing this work for their protection. They're doing that work for all of us. That is their intention, is so that no more children are violated and dying, and that families are safe, that communities are safe, and that we continue as humanity to be able to live our truth and to come back to what is natural and organic. So in the Mayan calendar, there's a pyramid, and it's a pyramid of 9 levels, and in that pyramid of 9 levels, it reflects every era of time we have had, going way, 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 way back to the beginning of creation with the earth. And it goes back billions of years to the cellular beginnings. And there was an era in there which started, now I don't have the dates on me because I'm just doing this all off the cuff, but it started around the time of the Babylonian slave driving times, where the mind was used through the rulers to control the people and to set up structures that were unnatural and removed from nature, that got people to perform, and it sort of started to harness the energy of the earth. So religions were formed, modern science with all its not so accurate laws about gravity and particles and waves, and all these things were brought into being. Even the stories of evolution among animals and people, and these things were put in place and not necessarily accurate, basically so that we could go through an era of separation where we were being separated from nature, and we were following along mental constructs. So during this era, when it began, it was the left brain that was engaged. And so now we have what's left over of a patriarchy, where this left brain consciousness ruled and reigned and created division, separation, persecutors, victims, any polarity. It came with the whole concepts of right and wrong. And religions were a big part of this. Now, part of my life, I was a pastor's wife in a kind of a strange Pentecostal church. They were a group of people trying to do what we thought was right, to live righteously, which immediately has signs of duality. It's immediately going into concepts of right and wrong and good and bad. And part of that was that there were beliefs within the structure that only if you did certain things were you saved. And basically it was a way to get people performing and earning their way and almost giving up this earthly life for what they could build up as treasures in heaven, rather than experiencing this full humanity right now and living a guided way where we were one with Creator. So to me, Creator is very real, and I personally have moved away from calling that Creator God, simply because I don't like the vibration of the word God. I'm quite happy with Allah. It's got a nice vibration. Then we have our creative energies of Papatūānuku, who's Mother Earth, and Ranginui, who's Father Sky. And the feminine aspect has been left out of religious institutions, just as women were oppressed for many, many, many eras, and that oppression lifted with the seventh wave, which started later. So these waves of time, every time we enter a new wave of time as we progress up the layers of the Mayan calendar, time quickens by 20 times, and time is an ever-quickening frequency that has now moved beyond the rate of mental cognition. And this is why so many mistakes are being made within the systemic realms, or the realms of the global governance, because they rely on thought, apart from where they've used the artificial intelligence gathered by computers and algorithms and all of that. But yeah, they're very, very slow. And so what's happening is that in nature, as people have returned to nature and come more into their own self-mastery, we're actually starting to live through the heart. And so we intuitively decide at any moment. And when we intuitively decide at any moment, we're unpredictable. And that algorithm cannot be predicted by the artificial intelligence machines. And it cannot be calculated by the mental cognitions of the system. Now, I studied counselling, and I did it within a Christian institution. I was coming out of my Christian times at that time. And one of the things we did was that we studied the different stages of faith, so people create models, and it's just a way of explaining things. So there's a stage of faith called universal faith, which many people on this planet have come to. When we reach the stage of universal faith, we are no longer judging who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad, who's saved, who's going to hell, to put it quite basically. And we become masters of our own destiny. So in different religious scriptures, which have had their place in humanity, so for many, they've needed a reference for morality just to come out and live a better life, and that goes along with morality. But when we actually transcend that need for knowing what is right and wrong, being told what is right and wrong, just like a child needs to, maybe at certain stages in their life, they need to know, this is going to get you in trouble if you put your hand on this hot stove, although they do experience that. But we grow out of that, and we grow out of being led and being governed and controlled, where we become self-determining, and we maintain a sense of self-control, which is intuitive and based upon pure love and nature. And so we move to this place where there's just absolute acceptance for everyone and everything. We can move to where we can actually embrace the dualistic things that are still going on within the presence of unity. So we become observers of everything rather than participants of having to be told. Now, I've seen it even in a recent faith which I've had interest in, because the writers of this faith, you can call them prophets or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with prophets. Prophets help a lot of people to re-access the divine. But what's happened in this faith is that a structure was put in place where certain people take control, and then you're supposed to actually follow that control. And again, it's that same pattern that we need to break through. Now, everything can be infiltrated. Okay, so there's amazing amounts of truth in many, many religions. It's incredible, and if we can discern what's true, it might hold a guidance for us or meaning for us at our different stages of growing and learning. But when it actually becomes another form of governance, it's still exactly the same as the duality or the separation that began, a separation of who's good, who's bad, who's right, who's wrong. And what we're sort of seeing a little bit is that there seems to have been a little bit of an attempt at the protest of Wellington for a certain religion, I'm not saying just one in particular, to come and try and dominate and take hold, almost as, well, we're going to take over your new leadership because there's been political interests. So politics and religion and modern science and the money system and even the educational system, all of these things are actually old paradigm. And there are infiltrations in everything which can hold, it could hold 99% truth. Like the dream spell, because it came off the Tzolkin, it could hold that much truth. But because they set the date around the moon, and apart from the true time, there's a wobble in consciousness. And so it's a decoy, and it became very popular by a man named Jose Aguilares. So it infiltrated the New Age movement, and basically said that on a certain date, the whole of creation would end, and we would basically end this whole paradigm and start anew. And many people were gutted and thought, wow, it never happened, and they lost faith in this calendar, which was kept sacred by the true timekeepers, and it was thrown out by many people, because many people saw it as untrue. And in a sense, let's not throw out everything that comes from religion, apart from the religious aspect or the binding aspect of religion, but let's keep, we have it inside of ourselves that there is this divine force. We have divine parents, we have cosmic parents who are divine source, and those are the ones that we are one with, and as we establish that through our physical form, as I've been talking about over time, then we hold their energy, and we become cosmic beings, and that's part of our self-mastery, to become cosmic beings that can actually transcend illusion and also emanate a massive amount of cosmic love, which actually helps to protect and serve people that are on the front lines, that we can send this love. We are empowered to. So today's 12 water, it's the ripening of the knife Tracina right here, where we're cutting away illusion. Tomorrow is 13 dog, and on the Gregorian calendar, which I do not follow, I acknowledge, because sometimes we have to keep dates that everybody uses that calendar for, but it will be 13 dog, And we will be right at the center point between 13 dog and 1 monkey. We're right at the center point of the Tzolkin. It's a very, very focused and powerful source-connected time. And 13 dog is the ultimate sense of justice. It is the 13th day of the knife Tracina. So we cut away things to come to the ultimate justice. So justice is about correcting. It's not about right and wrong, good and bad, as our commercial justice systems would have us believe, or what we've been socially conditioned to. It's actually about a realignment and a real justice. It's a cosmic justice. And then we move into 1 monkey the day after, where we are totally in the magic of time weaving with pure innocence and pure love. And this is a very, very, very powerful time. And even my friends who follow astrology are saying that tomorrow, the 22nd, is equivalent to the time when I think the Constitution was written or something in Australia. But there was massive change. There was massive change within creation that affected all of humanity. So it's a day, but a day can mark an energy, but the energy comes through over time. So I'm just encouraging people to just cut through all illusion in our consciousness, to be the self-determining sovereign being who you are becoming, because you are here mastering yourself with me. There's a great collective who are doing that, and we are really doing so well. And I'm really excited to see this really coming forward now. And it's coming through because the vibration of the heart within a grounded human who has full access to the heavenly realms can actually be a full vessel of cosmic love whose energy extends out beyond themselves into the whole of creation. So that's what I'm encouraging, and it's an exciting time. And I thank you for being on this journey with me. Blessings upon you, and may peace reign upon the earth as we hold it within our hearts and within our consciousness. And we break through the last infiltrations that come through religions, that come through movements, that come through calendars, that come through anything that would distort that truth even that little bit away from what is real. To me, I only need to be connected with Papatūānuku, Mother Earth, Ranginui, Father Sky, and in that I am connected with Divine Source. I am radiating their divine union from within my heart out to all of creation, through and in me, just as you may too. Blessings upon you. E tu, kahikatea. Stand firm like the kahikatea tree. Everyone, we are getting through this. It's inevitable that we will, so long as we stay connected. And so it is.